Kelly Orchard's podcast for successful badassery. Mustang Monday. Fast cars, fun chats, and badass business and personal tips from the streets. Driving home a positive message with interviews conducted in Kelly's 2006 Mustang. This is badass territory. No sniveling.
Kelly Orchard here on Mustang Monday. Welcome back. Today I have another badass guest. He's another certified badass as far as I'm concerned. Frank Donohoe with a badass tip from the streets. What do you have to say there, Frank?
You know, Kelly, we just came from an amazing Rotary meeting, and I'm just so moved that I don't really have anything else to talk about except this guy who came to speak to us, who's part of a national PTSD foundation. Man, he's a Navy corpsman, 3 deployments to Iraq, seriously injured by a mortar in Iraq, and now what he's doing, he's devoted his life to helping people who, like him, have PTSD, are fighting PTSD, and I just found his story so amazing.
Yeah.
As you know, what we do at the Field of Honor for the last 10 years, within Rotary, is the Field of Honor. It's our major project. And we hear some amazing stories among these 2,000 flags that we put up near City Hall. We hear them every year right around Veterans Day. And then we have veterans come and many of them for the first time will sort of pour their hearts out. You know,
yeah.
So I don't know how to get to this, you know. These guys are all badasses.
They sure are.
As far as I'm concerned.
Absolutely. There's no doubt there. That it's like, if I was to redirect you at this point, it's like, well, there's a badass tip all by itself. But here's a man, a soldier, who, no matter what happened to him, fortunately for his family and for him, he's still alive, but he hasn't given up. He keeps he's giving more than he's getting back. And that's pretty badass.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you say?
Absolutely.
So I would just say that this was a very appropriate badass tip. It's like, I mean, the whole idea of what a badass is that you've never given up. You've been through the struggles of life, the storms of life, and here you are, you're still standing. Well, that's pretty badass.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That's perfect.
Exactly.
That's exactly what this guy is.
Exactly.
He's been through more than any of us could even imagine.
Right.
Physically, but emotionally, and he has come out stronger. So I guess you're right.
Yeah.
If there's anything at all badass, you know, that is a great example.
That definitely is. I wish I was running the camera when you said that. It's like, oh my God, you're making me think. Hey everybody, Kelly Orchard in my Mustang again for Mustang Monday here with Frank Donohoe, who is one of my Rotary colleagues. And I got you in my car a couple of weeks ago, and it was so hot that my recording device, which is my phone, just shut off, and we didn't get to finish it. So I had to get Frank back in the car, and now he's like, I don't know what to talk about because the last one was so good. And it was, and I'm still going to figure out a way to use it. I'm just going to splice some stuff together, and we're going to use it talking about the soldiers. And then today we had something, but like a speaker contest from high school kids who our Rotary Club supports, and they get an award for winning.
Okay, they're high school kids, but they were both 10th graders.
I know.
These are
barely high school. They're babies.
Kids.
They're babies.
That are way smarter, way more capable than I ever was at their age. They were very, very impressive today. So one of the ladies talked about mental health and how it keeps getting swept under the rug. It's so important for us to recognize it.
It is, and that's what I felt obviously very personally connected to her speech. It was on this reducing the stigma of mental health, and one of the things that she spoke about was the statistics. And I know statistics because I talk about them a lot when I do my classes. Is that, do you know that 25% of Americans struggle with depression, anxiety, or other mental health issues? And it's like, when you think of it, it's like 25%. Well, when you think about like a sales team or your team at work, and there may be 8 of them, that means 2 out of those 8 are really struggling and may not perform to the best of their abilities. They may be miserable, depressed, calling out sick, things like that.
The statistic that she mentioned that really hit me hard was there are 3 times as many mental health people with mental health issues in prison than there are in mental health hospitals.
Yeah.
We are doing all the wrong things in helping treat and diagnose mental health. I mean, I know mental health. It's something that affects me personally, and I think this lady was just amazing in trying to bring that issue to the forefront, because we've ignored it or not treated it properly for
I agree.
For decades.
A lot of it has to do with, the stigma has to do with shame-based or embarrassed.
Exactly.
That, the thing is that it's not your fault. I liken mental illness, is what we're talking about, like to having the cold and flu. It's not your fault that you have a cold or the flu. The symptoms include coughing, sneezing, body aches, high fever. So it's like, so what do you do when you have the coughing, sneezing, body aches, high fever? You take remedies. You drink water. You take, medication. You go to the doctor, right? Well, same with like depression or anxiety. That results in crying, mood swings. It's like anxious activity. Nervousness, low confidence. Those are the symptoms. Okay, so what do you do with those symptoms? Well, you go seek mental health. You do some self-help. You do some self-care, meditation.
So I'll tell you my story.
Okay.
At the peak of my career, I was a very successful young business guy, and I got this issue, and it's called agoraphobia.
No.
And for a time, I wasn't even able to leave the house, much less go into a store or drive on the freeway or drive over a bridge. I couldn't do those things.
Right.
So I got treatment. I actually went to see a psychiatrist. I got drugs to calm me down, and for many years, nobody knew.
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, I was at the peak of my career, and I was able to hide most of that from anybody who was around me, except my family. But I never wanted to talk about it. I didn't want to admit it. I went to I think my father had the same thing, so I told him about it, and he was sort of in denial of his issue and in denial of mine. He said, "Oh, you must be just dizzy from something." So I don't know. That's not a severe mental health, but it is a mental health issue, and it shows how we treat it by hiding it.
You're absolutely right. First of all, thank you for being so brave and just bringing it up here. Something I didn't even know about you. But agoraphobia is definitely a symptom of anxiety and depression, and it is treatable. And I think, and you discovered that. But then the other thing, the key point that you made, I was like, I didn't want anybody to know.
Yeah.
It's like, how many else of you are out there that you've got something
That's
going
right.
on and you don't want people to
That's
know about it? It's okay. Own it. Admit it. Get some help. It's all right.
Yeah.
We want to reduce that stigma because your symptoms were like you're sneezing and coughing and you don't want anybody to know you have a cold.
Right.
It's just like that. It really is. It's not your fault.
Get help.
Just get help.
Don't have a problem, acknowledging what's going on with you, because it's normal.
Yeah, it's very normal.
It's common.
Most of us, like a third, you can either use the third of the population, statistics, or you can use the 25%. And the 25% they're talking about are not the ones that are incarcerated or looking for help. Those are the ones that probably goes unreported, and it is costing businesses and your relationships time and energy. Businesses that you lose money, relationships, they fail. Yeah. And if you want to have a successfully badass life, look into that. Get some help.
Hop on the bus to Badassville. Turn up your energy with Mustang Monday. Here once again in the driver's seat is Kelly Orchard.
All right, hey, everybody, Kelly Orchard here. I'm going to try to get out of the glare because it's like we're parked in a funky spot, I think, but we're in the shade, so we're happy. This is Kelly Orchard with Mustang Monday, and I'm here with my good friend Candace Nicholas from the corporate room. How are ya?
Good, how are you?
I'm so glad we finally were able to do this.
I know.
I actually drove the car up to a monthly mixer that happens at the corporate room, and I deliberately drove the Mustang up here because I knew I was going to run into Candace, and I had to pull her out and say, come on, we have to go do this now.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
yeah. But we were talking inside. First of all, it's a great mixer.
Thank you.
And it's like, and these are these Mustang Mondays don't have dates on them, so I keep them evergreen so that it doesn't matter. But the mixers that you have are what, the third Friday of every month, or
We are at the second
Friday
Yes.
of every month.
Yeah.
All right, out at the corporate room in Wildemar.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's fun. I mean, somebody just asked me inside, so who's in charge of this? And this isn't affiliated with a chamber or some other organization. This is really fun.
Yeah.
And I felt like I was in the know because I knew the history.
You're right.
So tell me the history real quick about how this started.
Well, the corporate room started, the parent company is actually New Life Culinary Creations. We're an award-winning catering company in the area. So we started catering throughout the valley and finally decided, hey, we need a commercial catering kitchen.
Yeah.
So we have a commercial catering kitchen in one suite, and then in our second suite we have the corporate room. The corporate room is an amazing venue, obviously. We have a great parties, great events, but we hold private events, which is really what we love doing. We have networking mixers like the chamber breakfast, things like that, coffee with the city, but outside of that we have great events, birthday parties, weddings, quinceañeras, things like that. So we're privileged enough to be able to cater on site and off site.
Yeah.
So like
Best of both worlds.
Exactly.
Yeah, without
Exactly.
the big resort fees that you'd have to come up with, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. So
And
excellent.
And that's
yeah.
why people love us.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think.
Well, and then then you got Sebastian at these mixers, and he's always like playing the piano.
Yeah.
And I, it's like, hey, everything I do is resolved around the badass soundtrack and music orientation. So, this is just a bonus, right? At these mixers, it's probably what brings people out. It's like I don't want to miss the music. So we were going to talk about integrity today.
Integrity.
Okay.
Yes.
So tell me your idea on that. What how is this your badass tip? What tip you want to give?
Well, I think one thing that we're really known for in the community is having great integrity. We're family owned and operated. So I think that is a huge quality that you receive when you do business with us. And that's really being a badass. That's something that was instilled in me for a very long time.
How? I mean, can you give me, like an example? You said instilled in you. What, in your professional life, or even just when you were being raised and growing up?
Professional and personal, yeah, absolutely. I think it's just something that my mother always taught me. You do the right thing when no one's looking.
Yes.
And
I tell people that too. It's like, it's like your true self is who you are when you're alone.
Right.
And how you act, how you respond to things. And as a psychotherapist, I'm constantly, that's part of my job, is to help you reframe certain attitudes, certain stories, things like that. But in the business world, it doesn't always happen that way, does it?
It doesn't.
Yeah.
Sometimes when we're selling our event services and caterings to people, they, there's an easy way to come off as that cheesy car salesman.
Yes.
Well, and it's like, that's not what someone's going to remember on their wedding day.
Yeah.
We don't want to be that cheesy car salesman. Our services speak for themselves.
Yeah.
So.
Cheesy car salesman. I always say that too. It's like when I have something going on, I was like, I don't mean to be sound like a car salesman here, but you better hurry up because it's going away.
Well,
so is that what you're talking about? Is like trying to get them? It's like all of these elements that you can be adding to their event.
Yeah.
We can do this. We can do this. We can do this. And then I think the integrity part is that you follow through.
Right.
With what you promise.
Right.
And I've experienced that in business many times, where somebody promises the moon, but gives you dust. you know?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. There's tons of businesses in the area that can show you the world, but not promise. Not follow through with that promise. So we provide everything that we say, and I think that's important personally and professionally.
Yeah, mean what you say what you mean, and do it.
And that's how beautiful friendships evolve as well.
Yeah.
I mean, right?
Yeah, exactly. Are you a little nervous right now?
I am.
Okay, we're gonna just we're just gonna call this out.
Oh
we're not gonna stop this recording, but we'll just call it out, because it's like, I've had many people sitting in this car saying, I'm so nervous, I don't know what to say or what to do. But I know you, and I know that you have this integrity and this professionalism about you. But sometimes, but what I'm proud of with Candace is that she's stepping out of her comfort zone right now. This is uncomfortable for you.
Right,
but you're doing a great job.
You know what? And
Yeah.
I learned from you, Kelly, that part of being a badass is being comfortable with not being comfortable.
That's right.
Because you taught me that.
How did I teach you that?
Well,
and thank you. I didn't even know that. Okay.
Well, I mean, there's just so many things that you've explained to me that really have given me confidence.
Mm-hmm. Well, stepping out of your comfort zone, it's like, no, we're suddenly switching gears, but that's okay. Yeah, but getting out of your comfort zone is really huge for me with any of my clients, anybody that I work with, whether it's a psychotherapy client or a coaching client or a business consulting, is that, we get stuck in complacency.
Mm-hmm.
And wouldn't complacency be considered your comfort zone?
Exactly.
It's like, well, I've always done it this way. Yeah, well, how about we stop doing it that way? Because it's not working anymore.
Right.
So if you want to grow, if you want to, expand your horizons, then what do you got to do? You got to take a step out of your comfort zone. And it really is really pretty simple. You're stepping out of your comfort zone, you're climbing into my car, and I'm also here with you. So it's not that uncomfortable.
No.
And you're realizing, I can do this. This is not so bad.
Right.
It's not so bad, and it's going to turn out really great.
Right.
When I edit it all together, and you're going to be like, that was awesome.
I know, I'm like
I'm
thinking-
so glad I did that.
Thinking oh my God, my eyes keep watering.
Yeah.
I look like a
Well, I'm always like,
like sweating.
my thing
It's
is my
100 degrees.
hair. I'm always like issues with my hair, and I get people tell me all the time, it's like, knock that off with your hair issue. But that's my thing. That's my issue. But I own it.
Yep.
My hair never cooperates. It has a mind of its own, but I'm like, all right, it's gonna do that.
It's gonna do that. My contacts are gonna stick to my eye, and it's
Uh-huh.
gonna look like I'm crying. I'm giving this emotional testimony, but it's just
You're like, it's all
Hey,
about integrity.
it's all about integrity and doing the right thing. It's like no.
Yeah.
But that's part of life, and that's just what happens. And
Well, we can even talk about integrity and stepping out of your comfort zone at the same time, because somebody let's talk about integrity. So say you're just starting out in business or in the professional world, and you want to have integrity, and you start making big promises to people, right? But you want to have integrity. So what are you going to do? If you're making huge promises to somebody, you better step out of that comfort zone and own those promises that you've made.
Right.
So, it's like my mom used to call it when we had a family radio station business, and my mom used to say when my brothers would, give some value added to what we were trying to get somebody to sponsor, she's like, don't give away the store, but it's like, okay, you don't want to give away the store, so to speak, but you
Right.
do want to give what you promised.
right.
Regardless.
Right.
So that's integrity and stepping out of your comfort zone a little bit. Because I do that all the time. It's like, ooh,
Yeah.
Because even for me coming up here to this mixer on a Friday morning, well, I shouldn't say that because this is Mustang Monday. But by now, you guys know I record these. But even to come up here, because I live 30 minutes down the freeway.
Yeah.
And it's early in the morning. And this is the only day during the week that I don't have morning stuff I got to do. So, of course, I would prefer to have a slow morning at home, chill out, kind of take care of some of my admin stuff, but it's once a month, and I get to see Candace, so I come.
And hey, I'm making this huge commitment to come too, because 8 o'clock is usually what time I wake up. So being up at 6:30, I'm like, oh no. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Got it. So the stepping out of your comfort zone is making these little small sacrifices that will build your confidence. That's the point. Is like when you step out of your comfort zone, it builds your confidence, because you look at it, it's like, well, I did that, then I can do this or that or that. So after you did this now with me, I'm going to want to hear from you. It's like, hey, thanks to that, I was able to feel confident to do this.
Right.
Okay, I want to know.
Right.
I do want to know.
And that's another thing, is sometimes it's easier to take the easy route, sleep in, enjoy my coffee in the morning, but I took the hard route, and I'm going to see results.
Yes, exactly.
I am.
Yeah, or the road less traveled.
There you go.
The road less. It's not really, because it really isn't hard. It's a challenge, but it's not hard.
No.
So, okay. All right.
Yeah.
All right, everybody. So this is fun. Thank you, Candace, for being with me today.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. So, at the end of every Mustang Monday, I always have them say, my guests say my tagline phrase with me. And I keep saying that we have to You know, I have to get it taped up, and so I'm doing this. And Candace, what did you just say?
I said, hey, let's go back. We'll get the label maker out, and we're gonna get this on your dash.
That's right. We're gonna get it on the dashboard. We're gonna make the label maker as soon as we're done. But in the meantime, I'm Kelly Orchard with my friend Candace Nicholas, reminding you to be bold, be brave, be confident, and be badass. Thanks for listening and getting one step closer to being licensed to be badass. Be sure to subscribe to continue on the bus to Badassville. Snag your Badass Habits ebook at licensed2bebadass.com. You can stay in the slow lane and get just enough tools for successful badassery, one podcast at a time. Or you can join the Badass Ambassador crew in the fast lane by checking your baggage with my Licensed to Be Badass integrated program with videos, worksheets, and group coaching for motivation, mindset, and a fresh approach to living a fruitfully badass life.
Certifying badasses, one podcast at a time. Be bold, be brave, be confident, be badass.